everyone, I'm Laura Rogers, and this is SharePoint Power Hour, our weekly show at most Wednesdays at 11 Central, and I have Joelle Jobson here on audio.
Hello, everybody.
And we got to see each other in person a couple weeks ago at Ignite. You all probably saw that. We had a power hour. That was a lot of fun. Joelle lives in Atlanta, and I live in Birmingham, so we don't get to see each other in person a lot. So it's good to see you all back here after Thanksgiving. I hope you all had a good holiday for those of you in the U.S. And so, all right. So if you've never seen Power Hour before, this is our live show where anything can happen. No, you never know. So we've been doing this for about 6 years, and it is started off as just SharePoint show, and it's really SharePoint, Office 365, Power Apps, Flow, which is now Power Automate, just all kinds of things like that, and demos of those different products. We are not programmers. We kind of can do some logic and tweak code a little now and then if we have to, but we're not programmers, so this isn't super technical. I do have a server admin background, and every now and then we talk about admin topics, but we don't do we don't really do anything super technical in this show. So this is all just more geared towards business user type topics. All right, so today's topic, I have a newsletter that I sent out before Power Hour, and you all vote for a topic. So today's topic that you voted for is audience targeting. Audience targeting used to be around in SharePoint, on premises, and it's been there before, but they sort of reintroduced it and given it, some vitality, I guess, sort of reanimated it. But we actually did an old Power Hour episode 88 back in 2015. We did about audience targeting. So if you have a really old version of SharePoint right now and you want to know that way to do it, you can I put a link in the chat. So we use Slack for our chat during Power Hour. And so I put a link in the chat to that old episode from a long time ago.
And if you're still using that kind of audience targeting, we're very sorry.
Yes, if you still have those old classic and those publishing pages. So, audience targeting, what is it? It lets you define audiences of people and target certain content to them, right? Joelle, would you like to expound upon that?
Yeah, sure. So the best way to think about it is I always like to use an intranet, a large intranet, as an example. So you typically might have people in different locations or maybe just even different departments, and audience targeting allows you to target content to people in whether it's a specific location or a specific department. And then that way when they hit a site, they might look at a web part and see information in that web part that is relative to their location or to their department or something else like that. Does that help?
Yeah. And so this is not permissions. This is
Nope.
a completely different thing than permissions. So technically, you might have your intranet and all these hundreds of pages on your intranet might be available as readable to everybody in the company. So everybody has permission to them, but you want certain people that maybe when they go to the main homepage, you want certain people in a certain region to see these announcements and certain people that fall under a certain department to see these pieces of news or whatever it happens to be. So you still inherently will only see content that you have permission to. So you won't see news rolled up from sites that you can't access. So that's already taken care of. But this is if you want to further audience target it. Now, the audience targeting doesn't exist for navigation just yet. I'm pretty sure I heard them say that navigation was coming because...
Yeah, hub navigation.
Hub navigation. Okay. So, but in the online, and I put a link to the online regular just Office support page about audience targeting. It doesn't say anything about navigation. But so we're not doing the navigation part today. So let's go ahead and get started. Maybe once they introduce navigation, we can do a different one. Okay, so this is just my generic test tenant, my Wonderlaura tenant homepage, and it's got a bunch of web parts on it. So let's go look at the steps that you need to take if you want to start using audience targeting. It's going to be based on pages. If you don't use pages and have multiple pages, or if you don't use news in your SharePoint modern sites, this has nothing to do with you. So this is all about pages and news and targeting it to people. I can't think of any other scenario that this would be useful. So first of all, you go to your pages library, site pages library, and you go to the library settings. And this is you do this on each site where you want to be able to use audience targeting. And you go to the audience targeting settings here. And you click it. And you choose to enable audience targeting. Just check the little box. It's pretty simple. All right, so now audience targeting is enabled for the pages in this library. And I even have a new column that will show called audience. Now, what is an audience? An audience is a little different if you use the old type of audiences. An audience is an Office 365 group or a security group. And it is, let me see, it is not an Azure AD dynamic group. So Azure AD dynamic groups, I'm not sure if they're going to be supported, but they're not currently supported. That is not, it would be nice because that would be more similar, I think, to the way it used to work. But and also, I'm not sure what license level you even need to have to be able to use Azure AD dynamic groups. I'm not sure everybody even has those, but no Azure AD dynamic groups. It will just use a security group or an Office 365 group. All right, so a security group, let's talk about what those are first. Let me go to my admin. I love the ability to right click on these, by the way, in the waffle menu. Because I never want to navigate away from where I am. I just want, add tabs. Sometimes you want to add tabs on purpose. All right, a security group is when you create a new group and you choose a group type. So Office 365 is one type of group that is supported with audiences, but also security is another type. So I'm going to go ahead and just create one right now. I'm not sure how long I'm not sure if it needs to propagate through everywhere, but we'll go ahead and create it now. So I'm going to call this the accounting department. This is everyone in accounting. Okay. And I have all these test users too, so I can go ahead and let me refresh this. Where did it go? I'm going to see if I can add anybody to it real quick. There you go. Alex is now in accounting. Oh, I didn't see the accounting department listed in my list of groups, though. That was weird. Oh, there, no? Maybe it's not showing here yet. Because like I said, it might need to propagate across, and because I think it creates it in Azure AD, and then it might appear here later. If you don't see your new group yet, go to the Exchange Admin Center. So I just don't see it yet. But Alex is in it. I went ahead and put Alex in that group. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put Billy in that group too, because Billy's another user that I use for my test stuff. So we'll have these in place so that when we test all the things that we're going to test, we'll know who's in this group. All right, Billy and Alex. Okay, now I have my home page, and I did go ahead and enable audience targeting. I've got an audience column now. So now each page can be audience targeted. So this is a page called, I'm going to go ahead and instead of using all these random pages that I have already in this library, I'm going to create them in a systematic way so that it makes sense as we're doing this. So everything will be very obvious as to what it is. So you don't have to name them a certain way, your pages. I'm just going to do this so that it's more of like a scientific, I'm doing this in a scientific way. So I'm going to create a new page and let's see. Wow, it's taken a while. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Ooh, that dark gray looks interesting. I feel like they changed that generic, this generic thing right here. It looks different. It used to be just a bunch of sort of shapes.
Yeah.
Now it's a building or something. Huh. Okay, so I'm going to say this, I'm going to call this test accounting. That's my accounting page. All right, and then this is for accounting. Sorry about all the typing. Okay, and then I'll publish this. Now let's go look at all the different ways that we can target this. So let's go to the pages library. And I have my accounting page here. So let's go to the little information panel. So this is going to be metadata. So now notice that I've got audience here. So let's see if accounting will be available yet. It's not available. All right, so I've got another, let's go look at what some of the other kind of groups that I can target stuff to. So I have a marketing members group. So I'm going to create, I'm not going to target the accounting page to marketing, but I'm going to go ahead and create a page for marketing. So we'll do that. I'll create a new, let me unselect that. And I don't have to go to site pages to create a new page. I can create one from the front page as well. And right now I'm just creating pages, not news posts. So we'll, since we have a whole hour, we'll be kind of doing some of both. This is marketing. And again, not permissions, just the concept of it's more important. This just content needs to be highlighted and seen by a certain group of people, but you're not necessarily restricting everybody else from seeing it. It's just informational. Just let me know if there's anything, I guess, pertinent going on over in the chat while I'm not really paying attention. Okay, so then back to pages. CJ says he suggested, or he or she suggested bringing audience targeting back in a user voice. Good idea. Okay, now I've got marketing. So I can go here to my information panel. I don't even have to go to the page to do this, but I can go ahead and marketing members is the one I'm picking. There we go. Okay. Now I picked one. Oops. Where'd it go? Sorry, it's a little buggy. There we go. And I'm going to hit enter to save it, make sure it's saved. Okay, so now I can see marketing members here in my audience, but also when I'm on the page and I'm going to I'm going to go ahead and edit the page and go to my page details. Page details is your metadata about your page. So here's my description and thumbnail and my properties. And it's taken a minute. So I can see my audience, and so when I'm editing my page, I can also edit my metadata and edit my audience here. I wonder if it will let me add a second audience. I saw one called, it was like marketing See if it lets me have two. Yes, so you can have more than one audience. Good to know, right? It didn't necessarily say that in the documentation. So a page can have more than one audience. All right, so I'll go ahead and republish that. Okay, so now that page has a couple of pages have audiences. Let's go ahead and do some news as well, and we'll just do news for accounting and news for marketing. We're doing this in a systematic way. So I'll do a new news post, and this is news for marketing. This is a news page, and I can even say, well, let's see, Molly Dempsey. I can put her name on here. You know, I noticed that it used to, Joelle, in the roll-ups, like in the news web part, it used to say the person's name who created it, even if you put somebody else's name here. But now it makes sense, and now it shows the actual person's name that you pick here. So like if I'm on my customer site and I'm the one putting the pages together and like putting the department heads' names on all these, it's not going to show my name.
Yeah, which is good for like CEO news or something like that.
Which makes total sense. So I'm glad they did that. And it helps to, I'm just going to stick a picture on here too. Now remember I did that in another Power Hour. I did an organization assets. I think it was a month or two ago. So I can put.
So Craig asked, can you set up a security group that would be based on a person's department, so when they change roles, it would automatically know for that security group? So I think that's like the AAD groups.
That's the thing we were talking about with the Azure AD dynamic groups. So I'll send a link. I'll put a link to that in here. But it is not supported for audiences. So the audiences right now are definitely not as dynamic as they used to be, at least just yet. I don't know what the plans are for that. Okay, so I created a new, a piece of news for marketing. Let me go to I'm doing my baking show here. Let me go over and see if my group shows here. Yeah, so accounting department shows now, and it over in my list of groups. And I have a couple of people in it. So yeah, Billy Bob and Alex are in the accounting department. Okay, so it shows there. So it should show in, you know, these pages of news that I'm creating. So I'll create another news post, and I'll say news for accounting. And then while I'm in here editing the page, I don't have to publish it and then go to the pages library to do the announcement. I can just go here directly into the page details and put it. That's weird. It's not showing it. I'm wondering if it needs to be an email enabled. I would think that it would need to be an email enabled security group, but their documentation just says create a security group. So historically though, Joelle, correct me if I'm wrong, it's always had to be an email enabled one, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have to, let's see if I can do that. I feel like this is something that I used to do all the time when I was a server admin, and you could just open one up or right click on it and choose to make it email enable it, but not in here. All right, let's go to the we're going to Exchange now. Good Lord. It's so funny because I was an Exchange 5.5 and 2000 admin a long time ago, and a lot of this stuff pretty much still looks the same. It hasn't quite got the drastic modernization update as some things has it.
No, it's just
Yeah.
funny because every time you go in there, you're like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, see, I don't even see it in here. Oh, what a pain. I should have just created it in here in the first place. I was trying to follow like the steps that it says on the documentation, so I was doing it the proper way. But it also could be, so do have an mail enabled security group here that's called Contoso All, that I feel like I'm just going to use that to demonstrate an mail enabled security group, so I don't have to keep pulling around with all these groups. So it does need to be mail enabled security. What is upgrade distribution list? Ooh, that's cool. Anyway, okay, so back to my new page, and I'll go ahead and put Contoso All. That's going to be all. There we go. That's going to be my see, now it's confusing. See, I was trying to name everything properly, but now I've got Contoso All as my audience. I feel like I need to
Today the word means all. The word all means accounting.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I want to be so OCD with this and make it all match and make sense. I still have one more page that I created that I didn't target to anybody yet. And watch, like halfway through the demo, accounting will just appear in there or something, and it. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. This is news for marketing. I didn't target that one to them yet. So I'm going to make sure I'm targeting everything. And since I targeted that other one to both of those marketing groups, I'll go ahead and do the exact same thing to this one. And I also have to go look at who's in those groups because I'm not sure yet. And I have to be able to log in as those users so I can see. Now, if you're looking at the documentation that I sent, let's see. Here's a link. It actually has screenshots. I'll put that in the general channel so it doesn't get in the way of all of our chat. It actually has screenshots of what a page is going to look like for different people as they log into it. So like it'll say, this is what it looks like to this person. This is what it looks like to this person. See, and the person that not. So it all kind of demonstrates exactly how it's going to work. Okay, so then I have one more that's going to be for Contoso All. Oops. Let me uncheck that there. All equals accounting, huh? That's so not Joelle to say that, because I know you're just as OCD as I am.
Yeah, I'm probably worse, honestly.
Okay. Let's see. Exchange admin improvements denounced at Microsoft Ignite 2019. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that. Okay. Now that we've targeted some pages, now we're going to talk about, so there are web parts where the roll-up web parts, highlighted content, and news are going to be the method in which you display the targeted content. So let's go back to home. And I've got just a bunch of random web parts on here from the other day when I was demonstrating some new web parts. So I'm going to be getting rid of these. Again, trying to be OCD and make this all make sense. Get rid of the weather. Don't need times. News, I'm going to redo that. So nice and clean. Got my test footer there. Okay. Now, if the first web part that we'll cover will be the news. So there are two different web parts that we'll go over. So this is the news web part. So now this one that says news for accounting, that's the Contoso All group that I added to be able to see this. Now, I'm not sure how long it'll take if I remove me or remove myself or someone else from a group as to how long that will take to change kind of what web parts they see. But it looks like right now I'm seeing news for accounting and news for marketing. Let's go over here and go look at some of these settings, because your filter, you actually have this other step. Oops, I clicked the little help button, where you do have to enable the audience targeting. So not only do you have to turn on the audience targeting capability in the site pages library, but whenever you're rolling them up, you have to enable audience targeting, turn it to on.
Hey,
And,
Laura, real
yeah.
quick, will you see if that's available on all 3 of those source options? I'm just curious.
Let's see. Recommended for current user.
That kind of makes sense.
Does
though.
not have audience targeting.
Okay.
And let's see. Select sites.
Yeah,
does have audience targeting.
The recommended for current user makes sense though, because it's running a different kind of like query.
Now all these sites that I select though, they would have to have audience targeting enabled in their library, in their site pages library, for them to roll anything up.
Right.
Or roll anything up? Or let's see.
No, I think anything by default, anything that's not marked with a person is going to roll up.
Okay, so did y'all get that? So by default, if
marked by the group, not with a person.
If it doesn't have an audience targeting, if it doesn't have an audience, or if it doesn't have audience targeting even turned on, it will show.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and change this little section to go all the way across. There we go. Okay. So I have, this is news for marketing, and that's showing on top. And it looks like I'm in the marketing group. So I'm going to go look at that marketing group now, and I'll go ahead and republish this.
Yeah, and Craig asked a question. If target audience is set on site A news, but you will pull the site A news to site B news, does the target audience follow? Yeah, it does. You would just have to, in site B news web part, you're going to have to go in and turn that setting on that Laura just showed. But for what we understand, it would then work, because it would have those audiences turned on site A, and it would know that, it would recognize that in the site B web part. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. The question is, does site pages even need to have the setting turned on in its site pages library for it to recognize and have the setting when it's doing a roll up?
I think it does. It does. It would need, if you are trying to target audiences, it would need to be turned on, and there would need to be an audience set on the files that you're trying to target, right?
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe if we have time at the end, maybe we'll have to test that out. No, CJ, this is the first of 2 web parts. I'm trying to do this methodically. So the news is one of the web parts that we can do audience targeting on. Okay.
And then soon navigation.
The other one is the highlighted content. So I'll go ahead and put highlighted content down here. And I'll even name it highlighted content. And by default, it's just going to show documents. And documents aren't going to, audience targeting is not going to apply to documents. So the only thing that I'm rolling up in a highlighted content web part that's going to use our audiences is pages. So I'll do this site. Let's see. The question is which filters, are going to, which ones of these are going to work. Put pages.
Yeah. There's a question real quick I just want to answer. So it's important because it's a topic you've mentioned a few times. Mm-hmm. So Jamie asked, what happens when someone who is targeted emails a news article to someone who is not targeted? They will still get it, because remember, targeting is not permissions. It's just when you hit a page, it's kind of recommending the content, if you will, that you see, and that's what targeting does. Whereas if they actually email a link to that article to someone and they have permission to it, then they will be able to see it. So I just wanted to answer that question since you've mentioned
That's a
that a
good
few times,
question.
Laura.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so notice that pages and so news and pages are all pages. So news is a page. But if I go to news here, news is just a more specific type of page. So I can pick, those are two separate things I can pick, but pages will include all the pages and all the news pages. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose pages here. And then here's the under filter. So before I enable audience targeting, let's look at if I change my source to say all sites. Ooh, it still allows me to enable audience targeting. That's pretty cool with all sites. And
yeah, that really helps with the lack of filter.
yeah, and then of course, you can get down specific to select sites. And let's see, let's make sure. Yeah, audience targeting still there. So I'll go ahead and just do all sites. And so all sites, all pages on all sites. And that'd be cool if you could say only show stuff that's audience targeted. But I don't think you can, but we can check that out. So enable audience targeting means then if a page or a news has an audience, then only that audience will see it in the roll-up. All right, I'll go ahead and just put 10 things. Okay, so all these four new ones that the new ones that I did today will be showing here because they're at the top because it's sorted by most recent. So let's get that out of the way. Now I've got, this is news for marketing, marketing info, test accounting page. Don't I have a news page for accounting too? I wonder where that one is. Oh, I am not, well, wait, I'm not in accounting, but we're not using that accounting group. That we'll
I
have
think
to
you're
go look.
not in. I wonder if you're in Contoso all, because I noticed when you switched that took that
Let's
one away.
see. Yeah, but okay, let's go look at the pages again. We're trying to do this scientifically. Gonna make sure all the pages are all the targeting makes sense. Yeah. So I'll go check and see who's in these groups. Unfortunately, it doesn't let you just click on them and see who's in them, which is kind of weird. But I'll go look in AD and see that. Groups, okay. Marketing team is an Office 365 group, and I am in it. I'm the admin, and Joelle's in it. And then that other marketing one, that is weird because I'm not sure where that one came from. It said like marketing team and then marketing team members. I think that's the marketing team is the Office 365 group, but marketing team members is that a SharePoint group on the marketing team site? I feel like that's what that is. So then that means SharePoint groups apply here as well. Let's go look at marketing team. And of course, I can't get to the site from here. Let's go to my list of sites. That'd be nice if you could go to a group in the list of groups and be able to get to the group's site. Microsoft.
Yeah, seriously.
Yes, Chris, you are correct. Technically, you could assign permissions on a page to audience target and restrict it. Without even having to use audience targeting, you could go give each individual page its own unique permissions. That's a mess though, right? That's any kind of unique permissions on items or that's you have to really kind of be on that, and you'd have to have somebody whose full-time job is to manage that stuff because that could get
Because then you have to think about like whatever content you're putting on that page, right? So if you're putting links to documents that also
Yeah.
need to be secured, or images that need to be secured, or just that kind of thing. It's just lots to think about when you're dealing with pages.
Yep. Yeah, the new norm. Okay, so this is my marketing team private group, and as we established, me and Joelle are both in it. But the marketing team has, if I just go to site permissions, marketing team members is a SharePoint group. So usually in the past, a SharePoint group is only available with you when you're within that site collection.
Click on that for a second, marketing team members. I want to say, yeah, so what it is it's like, I think when on the Office 365 groups, they create like another group.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think it's the SharePoint one. I think it's this like weird little other group that it creates to
Oh,
put
okay.
members in the members group in SharePoint. Like when you create an Office 365 group and
Yeah.
like make members, not owners. I think
Let,
it's like this weird little thing that they use. It doesn't get created as its own thing in there though.
let's go see like modern demo. We'll go look at what in here. I'll just see if I can target something and see if that modern
Yeah,
demo
that's a good way to look.
Office 365 thing is. Modern demo members.
Okay, so maybe it is. Maybe it can find.
Yeah. Interesting. So that is a SharePoint group. Huh. This is a Billy Bob, a test account that I've been creating a bunch of extraneous sites with. So I'll go ahead and put Billy on this one. See, now I'm going off my pattern here. But it only puts the members group. It doesn't put the owners group or the visitors group of any of these. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering if it is that Office 365 thing. I'm not sure. The Office 365 group thing. Because the owners one would just be the main one, like that, the overall group.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. It's weird. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm 100% sure.
Okay. I'm not sure why it
How it's splitting those.
There we go. Okay, so that one.
Billy.
Go ahead.
I just said IT Billy. I was laughing at that.
Yeah, IT Billy. So IT Billy is going to see this weekly news page. And I wonder if I edit this page, will it put it towards the top of the recent that recent pages web part? Didn't they change that so that it does show, like if you edit something, it makes it more like floats back to the top in the order?
Yeah, I think it was first published date, but then I think were they updating that? I know originally it was first published date was sorted by that.
Oh, okay.
But did they make that modified now? Or last published date? Not sure.
Okay.
Or you might actually be able to manage what sort order it uses, especially for highlighted content.
Okay. For IT Billy. There. Now I've got a special page so I can test this properly. All right. And then this one's going to be, I'll go to just do this really quick. IT Billy. Three members, enter. Because these things don't have a save button, so it's like you have to hit enter when your cursor's in the box. But then it still says it's saving, so I'm going to be patient. When Craig says when you see or pick a group, is it only showing you groups you have access to? Billy, that IT Billy group, I don't have access to that because I was testing something yesterday and I specifically didn't give myself access to it. So let me go in here as Billy. I'm going to go open up another browser window as Billy and go to the IT Billy site and double check that. Okay, so that finished saving, and I'll go ahead and publish that. Okay, got it. All right, now I'm kind of, let's get back to, I feel like I'm getting disorganized here. I wanted to test this methodically. All right, this is my news. I have only the people in marketing are going to see this is news for marketing. So what I want to do is take myself out of marketing, because if I take myself out of marketing, then theoretically I would not see these two things, right? So that's that marketing team. Okay, so I'm going to go to my marketing site and just do this the normal way, not the go into the advanced screen. But I'll go ahead and Joelle's an owner, so I'm just going to remove myself from this marketing group. Okay, so I removed myself in it. That's kind of cool. It immediately bounced me back to the SharePoint homepage. That's a nice new feature. In the past, it would have just taken me to an error, right? That's pretty cool. Okay, so now I took myself out of the marketing group. So the question is, how fast will this, the change take place? Let's see. My Billy, let me go to my Billy, IT Billy site too. Okay, so the IT Billy site, Laura, do not have access to it. I am a SharePoint admin, but that doesn't necessarily give me access to the site. I'm logged in as Billy here. So this is Billy's site that I just created yesterday that's just empty. And I am going to try and go authenticate to that as me. I shouldn't have access to it. Okay, yeah. So I can add a group to be an audience even if I'm not in that group, which is good, right? Because then you don't have to add, like if you have just someone who's in charge of marketing and targeting pages to people, she doesn't have to be added to all the groups, right? I think that's good. Okay, now let's see, let's go to the home page, and I'm not in marketing anymore. So I still see it. I don't know how many hard refreshes I need to do to be able to, I don't know how long, like there's probably a timer job or something. Now Billy is logged in here. So where's I did target something to Billy. Let's see. I feel like I need to refresh this. Let's see. So this one, weekly news and for IT Billy is what I called this page. And so for IT Billy is this. How can you tell, Joelle, if it's a page or news?
The promoted state.
Let's go look at that. So I'm going to add a column. If you're just looking at a whole just long list of pages in your site pages library, and you can't really tell just at a glance which ones are news versus just pages that are news pages versus just pages. Promoted state 2 is a news page, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Joelle's been doing a ton of these. She knows this stuff off the back of her hand. Okay, so the one for IT Billy is just a page. It's not news. So when Billy goes to this main home page, he's not going to see it in the news roll up, but he will see it here in this one. But the question is, I think, the order of things and when was that page created? Let's see. Oh, see, I'm not going to see it though, right? Because I'm not in the audience. So let's go to it as him.
Yeah, I don't think you were in from the beginning.
Okay. All right, I'm logged in as Billy. Let me go to this. Closing this stuff. So Billy sees he's in Contoso All. We'll have to see if Billy's in the marketing group. Is that something that you can look at from your end while I'm, in the meantime? to see if Billy's in marketing? I don't think he was.
Yeah, sure. I can try to look.
Oh, look. So IT Billy 12.3. IT Billy not sure. IT Billy test site. Billy, that's a Billy com site. So it looks like these are all the pages that get created when the site first gets created. But I want to see the page that I targeted to Billy. So let me see, what was the name of that? I think I called it, I called it For IT Billy, and the title that it shows on the page is going to be what? So that's going to be the title that shows, For IT Billy is going to be what shows in the web part. I can also put a nice little image to go with it. If I want to control what image shows in the web part, I can do this little change thumbnail thing. And you don't even have to hit save. You just change it and it's done. All right. And republish.
Was it marketing or marketing team?
Both. It was marketing team and marketing team members were the two groups that web part is targeted to.
Yeah, he's not in either.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, so this Billy page is what I need to do is I need to make sure that this one's going to be in the roll-up because it was created September 11th. So I need to make sure that it's going to show there on the home page. Does that make sense? So what I'll do, if for testing purposes, is with my filter, I'm going to say Billy. Title includes the word Billy. So I don't see it, but if Billy can see it, that would be the question. See, because I'm not a member in any of those sites that Billy owns. All right, I'm logged in as Billy now. We'll have to figure out why Billy can see this is news for marketing, this thing. Billy can see Billy com site. That's a page that is his. Oh, this is so weird, Joelle. I'm only dealing with 2 different accounts, so I was trying to keep it pretty simple. But now I feel like everything's all out of whack and it's not working.
Yeah, this is news for marketing. Who do you have that targeted to?
This is news for marketing. Oh, that one doesn't have anybody.
Yeah, so it's working because he's in Contoso All, which is the the accounting one.
Okay.
So it's working,
I could have sworn I added... That is weird because I could have sworn I added both of those to this one.
Maybe it was doing that weird thing where it wasn't
saving.
saving.
Maybe they disappeared. That's awesome.
I love that about that.
Yeah.
Information
you all
pane.
double check your stuff.
The information pane loves to not actually update and tell you it did update. Yeah, because he is in Contoso All, so that's why he's seeing the accounting one.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go actually just edit the page and maybe put the audience in it as I'm editing the page, just because that little side panel, maybe that's buggy. So Sandy, that's a great question. The page lives in the home page. So Billy, the one that says IT for Billy, that is just in the home page, and he could get to the home page. So, but we can double check the permissions just to make sure. All right, this is news page for marketing.
And to answer Ant, it's because Laura put Molly Dempsey in the title, like the author area. because he was asking why Molly Dempsey is the poster
Yeah.
of the
So remember a
marketing news.
minute ago when I was saying you can put other people's names, and I was talking about how like when I'm in there doing pages for customers, I can put the actual department heads' names in there, and it does show as being by that person, which is perfect, and that's what I want it to do. Here's the problem with this page. So this is news. This is a news page for marketing. It it doesn't have a it doesn't have an edit button. Isn't that odd? Oh, I'm logged in as Billy. God. Okay, hold on. Go. Okay, this is news for marketing. No wonder Billy. That's good that Billy can't edit it. Okay, this is news for marketing. Needs to be. And that's why I couldn't edit it in the panel a second ago.
Oh yeah.
Oh. I feel like so when Billy was looking at it in site pages, it showed as not having an audience.
That's weird. Maybe there's some weird caching
So
going
it's
on.
like, yeah, it's like not updated or something.
Oh yeah, update news, maybe.
Yeah. Let me go in edit mode and just double check. Who would have thought I would stretch this out to an hour and have it be so messy? Okay.
You always can. It's like a
Yeah,
miracle.
I managed it. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's see. See, I had put her name, for those of you asking, I had just put her name in that little top banner, and therefore it shows as being by her. Okay. And again, I'm not sure how long it takes, like if it's cached, how long it takes to not show anymore. Okay, so we took Billy is not in marketing. And which one's the one that I am? Did you remove me from something?
No, you removed yourself from something. I can't remember which one it was
Okay.
though.
What was the one I just asked you to go look at?
You asked me to look if Billy was in marketing, and he's
Oh,
not.
okay,
And then
okay.
but I did confirm that Billy was in all Contoso, so he should see the accounting.
Okay.
So maybe you're not in all Contoso.
Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Sorry, this is so complicated. I think the complicated part is where it caches for a little bit, and then so it takes a few minutes. Like every time we make all these changes, it takes a few minutes to be able to see the results. It's not instantaneous, so therefore I'm confusing myself. All right, let's go back to what we were talking about in here. All right, with pages.
So did you want to check Billy again?
Yeah, well, I've
Or-
been refreshing the Billy
No, the Billy one.
account over here in Firefox
Gotcha.
every now and then, and Billy still sees news. The one that says this is news for marketing. Billy still sees that, but it says it was edited. It says it's 36 minutes ago. So
Oh, gotcha. So it's cached.
yeah, even though
Or is search indexed. Yep, that Chris is right.
I'm doing a hard refresh, so it's gonna take a few minutes. All right, so I've got this weekly news that is going to only show for members of this particular audience. I've got these are Contoso all. Like theoretically, if you have everyone in your company, you have an all group, you don't need to target something to them as an audience. You could just not target it to anyone, and then everyone would see it. So, but then you've got, think about the concept of having everyone in marketing in, if you have an email enabled security group, I think those are the best types of groups to have just in general, because those are going to be, that's going to be act like a distribution list, and you can use it as permissions in SharePoint. And that's always been the case. I mean, even like 10 years ago when I was just starting to do SharePoint and I was also an AD admin and Exchange admin, those are the types. I was taking everything that used to be a distribution list and I was making them all email enabled security groups, because you can just do so much more with them. So let's go back over to here. I'm going to refresh this. Dun-dun-dun. Still, see, it's refreshing. But I wonder that the thing that had the marketing, see, it has marketing team, is the name of the Office 365 group, and marketing team members they were listed as two different things. And all the other ones just have like the name of the group members. They don't have just, the word without the members. So that I don't know. That seemed really odd to me. But I think that's awesome that SharePoint groups are, I don't know how that's even working with SharePoint groups going all across to where you can see them from like it shows them from other sites, because usually SharePoint site collections.
So I don't think it is SharePoint groups. I think it's that weird members thing that the Office 365 group creates in the site. I think, because it just seems like why would it always say members? And if it was SharePoint, it would be visitors and owners too. I feel like it's
you're right.
That weird in between group that it creates.
Microsoft, what did you do? Okay. Okay, so it looks like it took a few minutes, but Billy, I'm logged in as Billy. Let me maximize this. Billy is now not seeing the marketing. So we took Billy, we made sure Billy was out of the marketing audience, and Billy is on the home page, and the web part has audience targeting, and he's not in the group, so therefore he doesn't see the marketing. Now, marketing launch, that's a different thing. But so if I go to this other site, this is another site, Contoso Electronics. This is rolling up from another site. So if I want to go say, well, this is going to be another site that's got content on it that I want to target to marketing, then I would need to go over to Contoso Electronics, and nothing happens. And then go to the pages library in this other site. So this could be something that you can just make a habit of doing whenever you create new sites. I don't think that turning on audiences, I don't know if that's going to be something you can do with site designs. Do you know off the top of your head, Joelle?
No, I'd have to check and see if that setting is there. No.
So this one is site pages. This is weird. Look at this. Oh, I'm Billy Bob again. Billy Bob doesn't have access to edit the library settings. So let me go to this other. So I'm kind of taking it more full scale now. I'm going across to other sites, and I'm showing how you can go change those and turn on the audience targeting, and then start targeting those pages, and then they'll all roll up. So that's the idea of what I'm doing now. So I just need to go to this is sort of now a recap of the steps that we're taking. So go to a site and go to the site pages library, go to the audience targeting settings, wait, it says waiting, turn on audience targeting. And then once you do that, then you'll be able to see, you have that new metadata that it turns on for you. You have a column called audience. It looks like this one I've actually turned on approval as well. So I've got a column called audience, and then I can say, like this one called marketing lunch. I might only want that one to show for marketing people. So then go to go edit it. I have to go to edit it before I go to my page details if I want to actually change the page details. Oops. Properties, audience, marketing team members. Again, I'm just going to put both of them. And this one, we did a whole other power hour about this. Do you remember this? The submitting pages for approval. So now please approve. I've submitted the page for approval. So now that's a good, I mean, you're kind of taking it full circle when you have sort of more advanced processes that I went ahead and changed it and turned on the target audience, but that's not going to happen until someone goes in here and actually approves what the change that I just made, which is send an email to somebody. Who knows? All right. So then see marketing lunch says pending, and it's pending approval because I have a flow that may or may not be running because it's old. All right, so then marketing lunch, if I have all this content from let me go back to my homepage. If I have all this content from all these different sites, so remember I selected a whole bunch of different sites in my roll-up, then the sites that are included in the roll-up would show, those pages would show here. So let me take the filter. Remember I put that Billy filter on here. So I'm enabling audience targeting. I'm doing all sites pages for this highlighted content web part. And then the news web part, it's only select site. News web part doesn't have an all sites option, which is interesting. So I've got select sites. So I've got just specific sites checked off here, which is why, maybe why Billy wasn't seeing certain things. All right. Okay, so I can just not see the things for the audience that I'm in, and then I'll log in as Billy one more time, and I go to the home page. Let's see. That went by fast, huh? I'll refresh the home page one more time. So Billy does not see the stuff that's targeted. Now, marketing info, that's not one of the ones that I put the targeting on. But he doesn't see any of the ones that are not targeted to him, and he doesn't see anything rolling up from any sites that he doesn't have permissions to. All right. Ant says, can you click the view all news and still see the news if it was audience targeted? Ooh, that's a good question. Let's go.
That's a good question. Imagine
this one doesn't have enough news showing to show me the see all, so let me go ahead and tweak the settings on here real quick.
I'm trying to remember if that page uses search or if it's just pulling from the site pages library. If it's just pulling from the site pages library, then you would be able to see it. But if it's using search on that view all page, then you would not. So.
Did I edit the news one? Just making sure. Because the news one's going to have the see all thing, not the other one. And he could very well, Billy Bob could very well just not have access to enough sites that are rolling up news.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm checking a whole bunch of them. Just so, because once your web part gets past a certain number of items, then you see the see all thing. But if you only have like 2 or 3 pieces of news showing there, you're not going to get the see all, and you're not going to be able to get to that special page. So that's why I was doing that. So now one more thing. I know we're over.
You can just click it on yours because you don't have to click on it.
Well, I kind of wanted to see what Billy's perspective. Yeah, that's true. You're right. I wanted to see what Billy's perspective would be, I guess, because he sees fewer of them. Yeah, he still doesn't see the see all. God. Okay, hold on. See all. That's weird that Billy doesn't have the see all button. Okay, so which ones would I not be able to see, Joelle, if it's not showing me?
You wouldn't be able to see the accounting, I think. Yeah, the accounting.
I think that...
Yeah, it doesn't look like you are seeing it.
Okay.
So it's using the same filter there then.
I didn't remove myself from marketing?
No.
Okay.
Or if you did, it hasn't refreshed enough yet. Maybe that was the one you did remove yourself from, but maybe it's
Okay.
But yeah, the accounting one would be the one that you would see if it wasn't, because you're not in that one group.
Oh, okay. Nice. I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen. That was fun and interesting, and I really, really was trying to make it very methodical and very specific and go through it in an OCD way, and it kind of went off the rails a little bit, but I think we got the gist. It's pretty simple. I mean, there's not as much to it as there has been in the past. It's really just the things to know is that it's for pages. You turn it on a pages library. The highlighted content web part and the news web part are the ones that it apply to. You have to turn the setting on in there as well. And then the fact that audiences are not security. They're not permissions.
Yep.
Any other last thoughts about how you'd use those? Or did I miss any questions? I wonder.
I don't think so.
Chris Webb is getting very technical in his questions there. All right. Awesome. Thanks everybody for coming, and check out our Cyber Monday sale is still going on. It doesn't end till the end of this Friday, and you can get our ultimate yearly subscription for half off. So it's usually like, or not half, so 40% off. It's usually like $899, and it's like 400 something. So, but that gives you all of our training and all the SharePoint, Power Apps, and Power Automate training. Plus, and anybody that's an Ultimate member, even if it's monthly or yearly, we have some new office hours that we're doing every 3 weeks. And so we won't be having Power Hour next Wednesday at 11. We'll be having our office hours for the Ultimate people. See you all later. Thanks for coming. Bye, Joelle.
Bye.